Good evening. Happy Saturday night. Hope you all are doing okay. It's late. It's late night and trying to hold myself accountable. Do stuff that I promised myself I would do. And one of those things is delivering on or following through on finishing writing some stuff that I've been working on, and it's in a former life many years ago, I used to be in a band, toured, oh God, all over the East Coast, in the Midwest. That's about it. But lately, the bug's been biting me just to make some stuff, and I thought, well, if I'm going to be doing this, I might as well do it in a ASMR style way, so that anybody, and how, let's hear it for the super cheesy macro I have running here, so that every 20 seconds or so, there should be a variable in it, but I don't know, the macros are strange on this, so I don't know how well it's going to work. Everything about tonight is very precarious. Just so you all know, it's going to be a lot of flubbing, but I'm going to try and keep it as sort of gentle as possible and keep the cursing to a minimum. So that so at least maybe something you can go to sleep to. Hello, Intergalactico. How are you doing? Have you been? It's been a minute. Now, see, I do feel a little bit like I don't want to nitpick. But it's supposed to be on this shot twice as long as the other shot. It doesn't really seem like that's happening. Hello, Carol. Good evening to you as well. Jessica, yeah. The Dahmer specials. Everything, yeah. Oh. I'm going to say, wow, the scene looks so nice and warm, but that is my perspective alone. Sam, hi, how are you doing? Hey, Bella. And Deadly Nightshade. Good to see you. Scrambled Egg. Ricky NYC. Hannah, you're looking forward to relaxing. Well, good. That's the intent here. So we'll see how it goes. But I've been just working on some stuff, and pretty good chance this stream will not live past its air date. But at least this makes me, like, having even a single person, if a single one of you will stick around, it'll make me feel like I need to do stuff in such a way that will hopefully one day lead me back to stages in the Northern Virginia, D.C. area. We'll see. But it always starts with the writing, right? So that's what I'm doing here. feel free to ask any non-music related questions. I'd be happy to engage. I am quite happy with the political events of the past week or two. I went from a pit. I was in a political pit of despair. I was already resigned to 4 years of who knows what. And it could still happen, but whatever. I feel better about it now than I have in some time. But that's it for the politics tonight. Actually, there's one other thing I want to say about politics. Because I see a lot of people saying, I don't want to, this is other people saying this, I don't want to talk about politics because that's not what people come to my platform for. They come to my platform to relax. I don't want to push politics on them. I don't, I do sort of adhere to that Howard Zinn, you can't be neutral on a moving train philosophy, but it doesn't have to be like in your stream. Like just, if you have a platform, even if it's very small, just make a statement about it, right? Like somewhere. You don't have to do it on your channel. Do it in one of your social media. Do it on Twitter. Please do it on X. Please let Elon Musk know that $45 million a month. He's throwing that shit. Let that sink in. Anyway, that's it. No more politics tonight. So maybe we can avoid the downvotes, but some of the stuff that I'll be doing is pretty rickety, so maybe we won't. So I've been writing stuff with the intent of, like I said, eventually playing it out and maybe doing it with more of an arrangement than I have now, recording, whatever. I'm going to be doing very minimalist stuff here. And I would love input. I would love like a lot of the lyrics here and things are very, very temporary. No idea what the ultimate. I have an idea for some of them. So they're in various stages of poop. But they are, the poop exists. So whether it's poop or not, it is there. All right. Let's see what we can start with. If I held up my arms just to dance by your side, would you take me for all I've got, rising up with the tide? My hands and raise them for me and spin me out then inside. I'm not drunk, just dizzy, darling. I ain't looking for a ride. Trying to keep what is mine. Our life could be long, with death coming late. There's so much to give before the ending will make. So hold my hand, raise them for me, spin me out, then inside. I'm not drunk, I'm just dizzy, darling. I ain't looking for a ride, just trying to keep what is mine. So that's number one, and that maybe a couple of you have heard that before. That's probably the oldest of what I have on board. I wrote about a year ago, and surprised I remembered it, honestly, like as well as I did. I have the lyrics here, but I haven't played a lot of these in a long time. Let's see. Sam, you wanted to upload a video about me? Clips from videos. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really know how that works when it comes to YouTube auto-claiming stuff. I don't know. I won't do anything, right? Obviously. But yeah, that'd be great. It can be negative. I want downvotes, and then I don't want downvotes, and then depends how confident I'm feeling, Hannah. I'm not feeling super confident right now. Carol, what did I play back when I was in the band? What genre of music? Well, I was in a bunch of bands, so pretty much started, with rock, and then really metal, like very metal. And then from there went to prog, kind of 90s, almost emo, like progressive emo, maybe would be a way of phrasing it. And then a little punky, a little there was a lot. But what I like now is stuff that I can do alone, because that is the way I prefer to spend the majority of my time. Oh yeah, so you recognize it. That is called Held Up. Yes, that's right. Awesome. Hannah. Yeah, it is, right? And like how many times pieces have morphed into things completely unrecognizable. Yeah, you probably are remembering this from an early... Oh my God, that's so cute. That's so cute. Get cute. Okay, so this one... Yeah, this one's going to be interesting. I'll try to get through it. Oh boy. I'm definitely gonna flub some of this, but that's fine. Is this constant shifting of the angle too much? Maybe I need to... Fave song from the Smiths, Sam. I know it's over. I know it's over, but still I cling. I don't know where else I can go. Over, 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 oh, oh, over. Yeah. But close second is Dream Academy's version of Please, Please, Please Let Me Get What I Want, which appeared in Ferris Bueller's Day Off. All right. This one is called Ignorance and Grace. Is it? I don't think that's really what it's called. Clear your mind. Do not hesitate. Is the one that you still love, who you still hate. There is light there, and it burns when embraced, but at a distance keeps you warm. You can't prepare for everything. Most ignorance is grace, and just a sign we both ignored. The impulse is enticing, but it's spitting in the face of the one you lost, the one that you adore. Do you want to be reborn? And face each love you've ever scorned. All on the presentment that your guilt is more tenacious than their resentment. Clear your mind, do not hesitate. Actually, that's supposed to be longer, but I kind of like. There's parts of that I like. Oh, I forgot the bridge. Of course, it has a little joke at the end. Do not hesitate. called Hesitate. Huh? No? Maybe. Oh, sweet. Yeah, I'm trying to just be as low key as possible. Low key, but in key, which is the trick. Alright, this one's new, so probably, yeah, this is new. Oh boy. Okay. Actually, I need water first. So I'm going to need to be looking over at the lyrics for this one. We'll see how that goes. There's not a lot that we can do. The wind just carries you off between the branches, and not a lot that we can say. Nothing gold will stay. The luster keeps fading. Each day we spend waiting. And it's true, the sun's glow on wet snow. It's like burning while you're drowning. So you try to savor the light. You were blinded from the day you learned believe. The world is a thief. Borrow in hope, repay you with grief. Were all your choices rigged for you? The consequences grew from wages untended. With every lie, little truth, no wisdom in youth, no vanity aging. It's all just preening and staging. So it's true, the sun's glow on wet snow. It's like burning while you're drowning. So you try to savor the light. You were blinded from the day you learned belief. The world is a thief, borrowing hope to repay you with grief. Oh, it was pretty dumb of me, giving up so easily. that's that one. Also, new one. Also going to be kind of weird with the lyrics over here. I should have thought about this before. Wait, you know what? Let me put the lyrics over here. Kindness conflicts with sincerity. And love is a word we know too well. Learning to show it will be the death of me. Just leave me lying right where I fell. Respecters exist as long as they are fair. Someday you won't miss me. And all your kind words are going to my head, but the stone will live much longer than the now. Yes, the stone will live much longer than the now. Focus your anger directed me. Stronger with each tolling bell. A life spent in grace, gonna be the death of me. Please keep trying. Please be well. Specters exist as long as they are fair. And someday you won't miss me. And all your kind words are going to my head, but the stone will live much longer than the now. Yes, the stone will live longer than the now. Oh, that was weird. Yeah, I screwed that one up. But you get the idea. It's pretty traditional. Ooh, I've seen this, Nate. I've seen that video many times. What else we got? Wow. Okay. Eesh. Do I want to do one that is that? Oh. This is really, really early, so. Okay. all the ways I've been a thorn in your side, but you keep holding on. I'm poorly maintained, still broken. High frequencies burn on. Take a note, I'm still jumping. Can't wait for the breeze of the fall. Head first, I think I'm not joking. How long can this coward stall? Yeah, it's got two other parts, but I'm not ready for that. Oh, good night, Deadly Nightshade. Good night, Hannah. Hello, Robot Goat. Hi, Hector. How are you doing? Yeah, that one's just too. It's too early to share that one at all. I'll do another very early one. This is good though because it really makes it obvious which ones need a lot of work. Breathe out. Breathe in. There's no fair way to win. Breathe out. Breathe in. And call me a fool. just kept whispering all that I needed to hear. And the hope you were promising failed to deliver, still living but trembling in fear. Breathe out. There's no fair way to win. But your lips just kept whispering all that I needed to hear. And the hope that you promised, they failed to deliver. I'm still living, but trembling in fear. Breathe out. Breathe out. That's probably the newest one, second newest one. I don't know. A bunch of them are pieces that I was trying to fit into one song and couldn't really like shove it in, so kept it out. I feel like that needs another part, but I kind of like the open, could be very ambient. So many here I don't want to do for one reason or another. It's a problem, like it really sucks. Like you write a song and it's got something to do with a situation that you're in or something that's going on at that moment, right? And then for some reason or another, don't want to play it anymore. That's the way it goes. That's the way it goes. This is not a pipe. This is not a scheme to keep you up all night. The memory wasn't fading, a symbolist aside. Years will pass us by. There's ancient history I know, with so much left unsaid, a breach of self-control, but I felt strong, like nothing could go wrong this time. If that's the way you want it. This is not a kite. This is not a scheme to keep your spirits high. The finer points debated, the string that keeps you tied, the tyranny of flight. This ancient history I know, with so much left unsaid, a breach of self-control, but I felt strong, oh, I felt strong, like nothing could go wrong this time. If that's the way you want it. And that one's called Pipe, as in the Rene Magritte painting. That is a pipe, but is not a pipe. C'est not un pipe, un pipe. C'est not un pipe. Okay. Let's see. How about this one? This one's older. Keep it down, I'll make this up to you somehow. You just don't buy that anymore. So what's left for me to drive in the condition that I'm in? Tragedy just waiting to begin. Be brutally unkind. Say there's nothing I can do to change your mind. That I don't know what I'm doing half the time. Did you sleep in separate beds? I can't get that thought out of my head. And so dream your summer life away on autumn wind. Tragedy just waiting to begin. Be brutally unkind and say there's nothing I can do to change your mind, that I don't know what I'm doing half the time. Say it's not enough to barely want to live, but it's the highest form of praise that I can give. And I don't know what I'd do if you were gone. So ingrained, and so much I'd have to change. That's called Unkind, yeah. Oh, hey Amy, and hey Nightshade. It's weird. Like I don't remember playing these much or often, but yeah, that one is older. It has a reference to drinking, which I don't do anymore. Although to be fair, I have a newer one. Also references drinking, but license, etc. Nope. Gotta have a capo for that one. A little up tempo for. Does this life still get you high? From days on the wire, thinking you're inside somewhere. And if you weren't so beautiful, I'd leave. So it's nothing more than weakness, keeping you with me. struggle through another day in your complicated way. But I'm tired of waiting. So break it off, keep pushing me away. And keep it light, the pressure's just too much. And I don't work that way. But if you weren't so beautiful, I'd leave. You seem to think that's true, and nothing I can say will convince you that this could turn out any other way. Struggle through another day in your complicated way. But I'm tired of waiting. Oh, no, that part's not actually part of this. Oh. Man, I had a long day today. Long day. I started the day in New Jersey. Hey, Cody. It's good to see you. Let me stop this crazy macro that's running here. Man, shit. How do I stop? Can I? Yeah, let's leave it. Do an 80s. If I do that, is that no? It's still gonna. Wait. I can do this. Stop. Bam. I have been playing with this setup for a long time now. I think I'm sort of good with where it is right now. There's a lamp you'll see here that is kind of new. See it? Oh, you don't see it here. Oh, oh, hello. You see it, but my head's in front of it. It's one of those lamps where it's not actually being lit by a light. There's a aperture fake light in there. That's why it's so nice and dim. Don't worry, I'm not gonna put everybody through this. Been practicing this so much. It's really getting on everything. how's everybody doing tonight? Jerry Joe, wow. Jerry Joe Barker Love. Wow. I remember you, from like 9 years ago. 8 or 9 years ago. That's how long you've been around here. I hope you're doing well. It's good to see you. If you star, I don't know what that means. Zaya Hoddick. Always wanted to play. Asked my mom every birthday for a baby blue guitar. Now that you're an adult, is it worth the money doing something awesome? A day does not go by that I don't play guitar. I'd be lost without it. I was, as I mentioned, I was in New Jersey this morning, New York yesterday, and I was not gone long, and I was kind of like, man, I wish I brought a guitar with me. As I was sitting there in the hotel. What I need is a parlor guitar. Nice small guitar. It's easy to tote around. Anybody have any requests? And yes, shut up is a request. That's a request. Yes, Deadly Nightshade, yeah. It was a long day. This guitar, so one of the things I've done on this guitar is I installed this piezo pickup in it so that I could plug it in, but and it sounds pretty good plugged in, but it adversely affects the sound of the guitar when it's not plugged in. There's a little bit of buzzing going on that I don't love, and this is one of my favorite guitars. And hear the difference. Here we go. Here's what I'm gonna do because we're here and I get to do what I want. The nylon string guitars that I have that I love very much, and each one I have each one of them I have left the state. I've gone to upstate New York, the mountains, the Blue Ridge Mountains, in the Carolinas to get these guitars. So this one is an Australian-made, an Australian luthier, Ashley Sanders. I like it because it's number 66. It's the 66th guitar that he's made. And it is really heavy. A really heavy guitar. You can see this neck. Headstock is pretty big. A lovely, I love a 12-hole tie block. Most guitars are 6-hole tie blocks. In fact, so much so a 6-hole tie block, if you tie it incorrectly, those strings will be offset a little bit. And I was at a Guitar Center a month or so ago, and they had a guitar that had a 12-string tie block, and they had strung it like a 6-string tie block, so the strings were offset, and they were selling it at 30% less than the guitar normally goes for, and I am almost positive it is because they did not know it was a 12-hole tie block, and they thought that the bridge was just misaligned. I wanted to get that guitar, but it didn't have a space. I didn't need it. But I probably could have just strung it correctly and sold it. But anyway, so yeah, this is Australian It is, I think Spanish cedar for the top, and Ziricote for the back and sides, which is kind of hard to see, but it's very lovely figured. You can also kind of tell it's arched. It bows out here. Give it more space. And this guitar has seen some use. And I just have like a little thing to keep it properly aligned on my knee. But it's definitely my go-to guitar. Like I don't worry too much if I bang it. I mean, I obviously try to be very careful with it, but you know. And I love the rosette. I'm a big fan of the rosette on this guitar. You can see it's very, very used. It is a road-worn guitar. It's very loud. It is most classical guitars are what they call fan braced. So they have like pieces of wood like this that are fan braced. This is half lattice braced, which means like the bottom half of this guitar has a lattice support for the top. I've posted pictures of it before. I think when I've stuck a camera in there, it looks like a cathedral in there. But there is like a school of thought that the tone on lattice guitars is not as the tone is not quite up there with the best of the fan braced guitars, which, you know, maybe. I love it. Like it goes forever, right? So there's that one, all right? I am asking for trouble here. This is, I went to upstate New York for this one. So this is actually a Cordoba guitar. Cordoba, they're not, you know, they're like Gibson or Fender or something, right? Like they mass produce guitars, but they did a series called the Master Series, which was reproductions of handmade luthiered reproductions of certain classical guitars. And this is a reproduction of the Rodriguez model, which is very well known. And the rosette on this one is amazing. It's only slightly marred. See if we can give it a little extra light here. Slightly marred by the fact that you can see it says Cordoba on the inside, but the rosette itself, beautiful. And if you can ignore the fact that it's Cordoba, well, actually maybe I need a little bit of that light. It sounds splendid. It is much, much lighter than the other guitar. It's much more like a Spanish sounding guitar. Spanish cedar on the top, and Indian rose. You can see it's two-piece Indian rosewood on the back and sides, but it has more attack. So if you're doing the it's out of tune a little bit. Has that snap. There it is. Something funny going on with the way I strung it. It's giving a little bit of rattle from how I strung it. But I love this guitar, even though it's Cordoba. It is not made, the way most other Cordobas are made, and I do think it probably has the most beautiful rosette of any guitar I own, and it has the most. I don't know if that's coming through, but it has the most. I don't want to say it's like the sharpest attack, because that almost has like a negative kind of connotation to it, but it is definitely the most Spanish sounding guitar that I have. And it does, yes, I am Amy doing the Nigel Tufnell. So that, you can hear it resonating. All right. So that is the Cordoba. And then the last one. The last one is definitely like the crown jewel for me, right? I've certainly probably shown this to y'all before. I saved like crazy to buy this guitar and drove, 11 hours to go pick it up. Now, the strings on this guitar they've been on there for a while, but this is an Italian-made guitar. It is a Lorenzo Frignani, and this is, you'll notice on the top here is, I really want to be careful with this, is alpine spruce, and you'll see the figuring in it. These, like here, they call it bear claw, and it adds to the strength. So bear claw figured spruce, or any kind of wood that is bear claw figured like that, will be stronger than its equivalent when it's not bear claws. So you might initially, like, people might see this and be like, oh, look, it's got like scratches on it, but that's actually highly sought after. And alpine spruce from the same forest, apparently, where Stradivariuses get their spruce. The rosette, I think the rosette is beautiful. It's got a little mother of pearl, bits in it that kind of shine there. I have no problem seeing into this like I might the Cordoba. Lorenzo Frignani, 2019. I don't know what number it is, but yeah, so it is alpine spruce on the top, Indian rosewood on the back insides, highly figured. And you can see this guy, Lorenzo Frignani, so he's a guitar luthier. He's primarily like bowdist instruments. He does cellos and violins and stuff. And you can see like there's some little things he does here. Like, see the binding here, it comes down, does a little swirl. The figuring on the heel, the figuring on the neck, I think is incredible looking. I don't know how much you're getting that. And this is definitely a guitar where if I it's like plucking the string. And that's how resonant it is. And the other thing that he does is he does these little, I love this headstock, the way it looks, like it's gradiated. And then he has little mother of pearl inlays here that are then also here at the bottom, which, you know, it's like a little simple, oh boy. It's fine. It's French polish. It's well protected. But the strings on this guitar are a little bit old, so I don't think it. Well, no, actually, I think you could tell probably compared to the other guitars. So it doesn't have the sharpness of the attack of the Rodriguez, but it does have sustain for, like, this is the perfect guitar for every note is round. There's no dead spots. You can see it's got like a little extra fingerboard up here, a little extra extra note. You can throw stuff at this guitar like those, where other guitars might like lose a little or might, you know, buzz or whatever, and this just doesn't. And even like the tuners, I think they're Alessi tuners, but even the tuners are just these beautiful things with ebony buttons. I love this guitar, and I'm sad because I am sure that one day I'm going to have to sell it. I am merely a custodian for this guitar, and will try and do my best. Maybe if I'm very lucky, I'll be able to hand it down to my son. Anyway, yeah, love that guitar. Don't want to mess it up. I stand for it. But like day to day, this is the workhorse. You could probably, like, this is louder. This guitar is louder. But volume is not everything, right? I do love this guitar though. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. I just should not be playing stuff that I have not practiced. It just makes everybody look bad. So those are them. And really, that's where, like, the majority of my, it used to be like, I couldn't give a tinker's cuss about my nylon string guitars. I had one, and then I severed the tendons in this hand, and then I was just like, fuck it. I'm never going to be able to do anything with finger picking. So why do I care about nylon string guitars? And that was the way that I was for a while. No more. Turn the reverb off on this. Take you off. And now it's just my stomach, my voice, and 18 of you. What's going on, everybody? It's Sunday now. It's after midnight here. Be going to bed soon, I'm sure. As many of you will be as well. I was using some of the time on my drive this evening to think about, to give some additional thought to my beliefs. it had occurred to me that, I feel like maybe every year or two, right, everyone should. Let me take a pill. What kind of pill is this? It's between me and my doctor. I think that everybody should take some time, some thought time, when they can, to think about their belief system, to reflect on what their belief system has been in the past, to see if they still if it all still rings true to them. Because I've definitely gone through periods of my life. I don't think I ever believed in God, right? I must have. There must have been a period when I did. And there was a period when I was very young when I would pray before I went to sleep, and I had to include the names of every classmate of mine, every one of like my cousins, my aunt and my uncle. I had to include all their names. I didn't believe in God. That in retrospect, I see that was an early manifestation of OCD. Because I could not go to sleep if I didn't do it. But anyway, my point is, my belief systems have evolved over the 51 years I have been on this godforsaken planet. By the way, I heard or saw or read something that I'd read before, but it stood out to me. Cormac McCarthy referring to a woman's hair as gemstones cast on a jeweler's black cloth, which I thought was beautiful. But obviously, if you're reading Cormac McCarthy, you're going to be thinking about your belief systems. So I have waffled. Feel free to if anybody has any questions about anything, feel free to toss something there in the chat. I have waffled over the last 40 years, let's say, between nihilism, absurdism, existentialism, and their sort of tributaries. I think I'm still. I don't think my course has changed. I think that was the result of my thinking. I still want to do a little more about it and a little more reading as well, right? But I think it's absurdism. So my issues with existentialism. So all three of these are basically like, there is no God, there is no plan. You are on your own, and I mean, in essence, you are God, in the Alec Baldwin sort of way. So it's sort of like applying the serenity prayer to this belief. And it's interesting because I hear people obviously, like, people talk about foxhole atheists or foxhole Christians or whatever it is, right? Like, where oh, there are no atheists in foxholes. I kind of think there is a flip side of that, right? Which is, I kind of feel like there may be a moment before the candle goes out for everybody where they realize how absurd everything that they've done is, and how absurd what they've believed is, and how absurd what they've done as a result of that belief, and the time they've spent fulfilling the strictures of what that belief entails. But it might just, maybe it's just in that last couple of milliseconds. I don't know. Let's zoom in a little bit here. We're talking about deep stuff here. Perhaps a little bit of a closer view would be. That's too close. That's too close. Let's go to about there. How's that? We lose some of the interesting stuff in the background, but that's all right. You get more of me. So the difference between absurdism, nihilism, existentialism, basically, like, absurdism, as I said, applies the serenity prayer to it. You know, Lord, help me care about the things that I have. Some things, like, give me the ability to not worry about stuff I have no control over, essentially. So absurdists create a framework by which they live, and they do so knowingly. They do so full knowing that it is a worthless framework, that it doesn't actually have any meaning at all. But they know that they would go insane if they did not have such a framework. So, or worse, right? So do I need a little fill here? Hey, buddy. Is that, let's go with that. That's a good amount that's maybe too much fill, but yeah, that's too much. I want one less. That's okay. There, let's just go with that. So I think that's still where I fit in. I think I am an absurdist, and I create my framework, and I know that it is a giant rotting slab of yak manure. I know it turtles all the way down. I know it. Its only use is in its ability to get me to get out of bed the next day. So, no changes. Maybe one day. But today's not that day. And, I wouldn't hold my own breath. But maybe holding your own breath, maybe that's a good idea. Maybe you should do that. Breathe out. Breathe in. Call me a fool. Your lips just kept whispering all I needed to hear. And there's no fair way to win. I was an existentialist. But there are aspects of existentialism that require require a belief in free will. And I don't believe in free will either. So we're all riding this ridiculous what is this thing? What is By the way, I have a baby, and he was watching Super Simple Songs, which is a series of very childish songs, but that keeps his attention really, really well. Try not to use it too much, but there are definitely moments where we give it to him. And they very clearly showed the sun and the moon orbiting the earth exactly the same, like it was the sun on one side, the earth on the other, which, whatever. It's not a science show, but still, you get these ideas in their head. I remember it must have been kindergarten, or maybe even pre-K, because how the hell did I think this? But I remember getting a workbook for school, and it had just a very simple line drawing on the cover of the workbook. It was the earth, and then it showed like the outlines of animals standing on top of the earth, obviously not to scale, right? But I remember looking at that and going, oh my God, we live outside the earth? Apparently, up until that point, I believed that we lived inside the earth, like it was a shell around us, and we were within it. And it was this very minimalistic line drawing on the cover of this workbook that revealed this to me. And of course, I'm sure I played it off, and I was just like, yeah, of course we live on the surface of the earth. What's keeping us from flying off the surface of the earth? Oh, that's actually kind of horrifying. What is that? The earth spins at 30,000 miles an hour? All of a sudden I feel dizzy and I need to grab onto something. And think about this. You wanna hey Patrick, you made it to a live stream. Think about this for a minute. If you would. Shit. I can barely see this. Let's see. Okay. Think about this. Think about, so one of the other things that was covered, and now I've read Cormac McCarthy's last two books before he died. Probably read Stella Maris 4 or 5, maybe 6 times. Read The Passenger 3 or 4 times. He was describing, you don't want Cormac McCarthy describing Hiroshima and Nagasaki. You just don't. Because he will fuck you up in the process. The Passenger, the book The Passenger, the premise of that book, which it's interesting because the actual premise, it has a plot device, which is, there's a main character, named Johnny Western, who works as a salvage diver, and they are brought out in the middle of the night to salvage a private jet that went down. And they go and they investigate this jet, and it had 9 passengers. It had seven. It had a pilot, co-pilot, and 7 passengers. So 9 people on board. I guess 7 passengers. But there was a passenger missing. There was supposed to be 8 passengers, and there were 7. And that's the sort of, I don't know, the plot device that kicks off this story, and then he just doesn't care about it from then on. It's more of a plumbing of the depths of the philosophy and trauma of these 2 characters, who Johnny Western and his sister, and this is not, I'm not spoiling anything here, but their trauma is that they are in love with each other, in non-platonic love with each other, and it is not consummated. It's not one of those kinds of stories. It's more of they love each other and they wish that they were not related, and they wish that they could be together, but they can't. And it drives them absolutely over the edge. And they're both hyper intelligent, and she wishes that they could do some kind of ritual, some kind of forsaking of their genetic bonds, and go off and live together. And he is a little more down to earth, a little more practical, and just sort of says no. And the start of the book is 2 books, The Passenger and Stella Maris. You're intended to read them in that order, Passenger, then Stella Maris. But Stella Maris is just a dialogue between sister and her psychiatrist. And it really feels like it was like a case study, not a case study, a character study done before The Passenger was written, to sort of really get an idea of who she was. Because at the beginning of The Passenger, you find out that Johnny Western, who again, salvage diver, which what you infer from that is, he's playing it fast and loose with his life, because he is in love with his sister and knows that nothing can ever come of it, and doesn't really want to be around anymore. But his sister ends up taking the exit door one day while her brother is in a coma from a car accident, because he also races cars. Like, what else can you do to try and shorten your life as much as possible? Johnny Western was doing it. But he regained consciousness and was okay to find that his sister was gone. And if there's anything worse than being in love with your sister, it's being in love with someone who is no longer alive. But anyway, there's a lot. It takes place around shortly after World War II, a few years. Like maybe a couple decades after, actually. But she was, she's a physicist and obsessed with physics, and as a result, they do talk about Hiroshima and Nagasaki. And imagine. So Hiroshima, was 6th of August. Nagasaki was the 9th of August. There were people, not an inconsiderable number of people, who escaped Hiroshima and went to Nagasaki and were subsequently killed at Nagasaki. Amy, interesting. No, Stella Maris and The Passenger were published in 2021, or even 2022. I think 2021, just before Cormac McCarthy died. I don't think it was. I don't think either was influenced by. Well, obviously, World Tenenbaums was not influenced by it, but I don't think that particular love, star-crossed lovers, sibling trope. I think they both got it from Bang Bus. But yeah, so he goes into some detail talking about. I'm not going to go into detail talking about it, but he goes into some detail talking about, imagine, this is the guy that wrote. Look, he wrote The Judge, right? He wrote No Country for Old Men. He wrote An Evening Redness in the West. He wrote Blood Meridian. Imagine him describing Hiroshima. I will share a few things that stood out, stayed in my mind. He spoke of people walking around holding their skin like laundry, like the wash that they were gonna go do. Walking around like insects, where no particular direction was any better than another. They weren't even, by and large, right? Like, weren't even aware that this had anything to do with the war. They just assumed the world was coming to an end. What a horror. And then imagine, you escape Hiroshima and get to Nagasaki. 3 days later, Nagasaki's gone. I know, prevented a land war. It's so, relitigating the past, certainly something that's much easier to do from the safety of the future. But what a horrifying thought. I think about it and it gets me a little dizzy. I like doing this. Like, I feel like this stream had 2 parts. Right, it had the part. Excuse me, I see my knee. I had the part where I was playing music and that was fun. But this part I'm enjoying because I'm tired. And thoughtful and in a pensive mood. And thus being quiet and rambly, which these are prerequisites, right? I guess they're not prerequisites for ASMR anymore, are they? Hey, KJ. It's good to see you. What are you up to? Amy, since you brought up the World Tenenbaums, was not that long ago, I visited the house that they used as I think it was their vacation home. It was not their main home. But it's on City Island in New York. And it's still there. Quite beautiful, overlooking the bay, the ocean. Not sure. So yeah, that was what I was doing. I spent a fair amount of time in the car. So re-listened to a bunch of that stuff. I like listening to Stella Maris because it is a conversation between the main character and her psychiatrist. I think I prefer reading The Passenger. It's so marked up. There's dog ears everywhere. Have anything here that can do ASMR noises? Put us all to sleep. Maybe I could fall asleep right here. Nope. Oh, Amy. Oh, Amy. Oh, Amy. Nothing unusual. What is the chord progression? Oh, Amy. Amy, Amy, Amy. Got it in here somewhere. Nothing unusual. That's not right. Nothing strange. Cold from nothing at all. The same old scenario. The same old rain. There's no explosions here from Hiroshima or Nagasaki, but you did get a full-time job. And something unusual, something strange, cold from nothing at all. And I saw a spaceship fly by your window. Did you see it disappear? Amy, come sit on my wall and read me the story of. Tell it like you still believe at the end of the century there's a change for you and me, because you got a full-time job. I understand, you know, the horror of, you know, imposter syndrome, and you know, you don't know what to expect, and you've gone through so much to get it, so now you don't want to lose it. That's the problem with having stuff, right? immediately become afraid you're going to lose it. I mean, I know nothing about the job. I know you to be an extremely thoughtful person, and I would think that this would be something that you would be. First of all, how many interviews were there as part of your process? Like, not interviews that you did outside. Like, did they interview you a few times? Did you go in for a power day or whatever it is? I can wait. Oh, I'm so tired. I'm like sort of in a. I could fall asleep right here. Fall asleep right here on stream. Is that a good idea? No, I mean, how many did you do for this one job? Wait a second. You're not saying you did 24 interviews for this one job. 24. No, I'm asking how many interviews you did for. Oh, 3. Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's enough. Like, when do you start? I mean, it's obviously you want to hang on to this job, right? But look at you. August 5th. That's just around the corner. Just take you out. So at least you won't be. I'm sure after the first couple of days, you'll be in there and be killing it. I mean, you'll know one way or the other, certainly. This is, I think, my favorite resin skull. But it doesn't sound great for ASMR. Yeah, it's true. It's true. That is just like when the burden is yours. The structure that sort of engenders that kind of fear, where you're literally worried about being able to feed your family, is fucking horrifying. I know I like flash things that I have bought or whatever, but the things that I tend to, I try to buy things that I know I can sell, like, and it's always on on my mind, it's always like sort of like, okay, does this go? How much does this value? Does this appreciate or depreciate? And if so, by how much? And how quickly could I sell this? So like, like for cameras, I have relatively few camera bodies. Lenses, I'm just like, all right, lenses you can sell like that, So I often see those as just like little savings accounts. I'm very careful with them so that I can sell them. And I've gone through multiple periods in my life, at least 3, where I have, as a result of losing a job, sold almost everything that I had. There are very few things that I have in my life right now that are of any value that I've had for a long time. Like even guitars, most of my guitars I have sold. The guitar I was just playing, I've had that guitar for 22 years. And it's now at the point, I think, where I don't think I could sell it. I mean, what I would get for it would not be worth, selling it. But it's why I keep all my other guitars in like climate controlled areas of the house. They have humidifiers in their cases, sit around, slacken the strings, do all that kind of stuff. Guitars. As a student, AI is scaring the crap out of me. It's making me want to learn programming. Already $12K in the hole. $12K in student loans. You're not alone there, Like that is, I mean, AI is really frightening to a lot of people, and it remains to be seen, like, how it's going to manifest, and what it's going to destroy, what sectors it's going to destroy, and hopefully what sectors it will create. But yeah, it is scary, and I am someone who has worked in AI. Boot camps. Oh yeah, that is true. But I have sold my guitar collections before. I had a reissue 58 Les Paul. Loved that thing. Had to sell it. When I was much younger, I used to. I had a small collection of watches. I was never into. I always hated Rolexes, and I hated anything with bling. I liked complications. So I had a Jaeger LeCoultre and a Patek, but as an older Patek. And then like a Baume, a Mercier, and a couple of watches. I sold all of them when I lost a job in like 2004, 2005. Sold every one of them. So that's just, just life, man. I'm sitting here like, oh man, when can I collect when do I get to collect my Social Security? I'm 51. I could another decade and I can start collecting that shit. Go move out to like some area of the country that is just like the cost of living is nothing. And do just whatever makes me happy to make some small amount of additional income. Because I am not. No, there's no way. I am not one of those people who will be able to retire. I got nothing. Yeah. Yeah, and at least one of those times, sort of my reversals of fortune, right? One of those times, my reversal came so quickly that I probably didn't need to sell some of the stuff that I had sold. But hey, whatever. This is we're all just trying to get through this thing. And it's frightening, and what might happen to Social Security is frightening. And going through your life, looking at every job. I mean, it comes down to capitalism, right? If you're looking at every job as sort of like well, how is this going to look on my resume for my next job, or I need to build this experience so that I can get this other job that is much more prestigious and makes a lot more money. And then you're just kind of leapfrogging over and over. Millennia JC, hey, I think I've seen you talk before. I want to say I recognize your PFP, but thank you for lurking, and I hope you're having a great night yourself. But yeah, Nightshade, it's tough, although there's also there's an interesting freedom that comes with letting go. That can feel good. All right. Well, thank you all for hanging out with me tonight. It is late and I'm going to go to bed. But I think what I might do some of these like very sort of late night, almost liminal thought processes. Who knows what could come out of those? Some crazy stuff, dude. 2 hours. All right. Sleep tight. Don't let the bed bugs bite. Don't let the ticks bite. Don't let the cicadas bite. Ugh. We're a buffet for so many. All right. Sweet dreams to all.